What up, guys? John from LinksWell here with episode 7 of a LinksWell Together podcast. It's a special. We got a guest. So what do you say we get into episode 7? Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 7. Super excited because we have our very first outside of the office guest. We've had a couple guests here that have been LinksWell folks, but today we get to bring someone else in to the studio, which is super exciting. What do you think, Vic?
Let's bring them on board.
What? That's it? You don't have any other thoughts? Like, are you excited that we get to do it?
I am, and I could go back to the first day.
Okay.
He first saw our radio.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. That's actually where we're gonna start. So, so we're gonna bring in Jonathan Herre from. Well, He's kind of a freelance dude. We met him through Onyx Offroad.
Yes.
We actually have been wanting to get connected with Onyx for at least a year, and we scoped him out like creepers in the parking lot because I seen his jacket or his sweater said Onyx on the back, and then he turned and he had an Onyx hat, and I was like, wait a minute, I think that dude's got something to do with Onyx. And so when we walked in, Walt followed him to wherever his booth was and said, hey man, you got to come check out our radio. So that was pretty much how we met Jonathan.
It's just one of those things. It's like, you know how cool it is if he only looked at it, right?
Agreed.
It's like, we knew that.
Yeah.
And the minute he saw it, it was the expression that we were waiting for, that we knew he was going to have. So that's why, it's exciting that we were able to introduce our products to someone, a professional, in the industry as he is.
Yeah, for sure. So everybody, Mr. Jonathan, welcome, brother.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's super excited. Like we said, we stalked you at Sand & Sport, which actually kicks off. Sand & Sport is, when this episode lands, it'll actually be the weekend after. So that's pretty cool. This will be our 1 year anniversary. Oh my gosh, that's super.
I remember that show too, because I remember that. I remember walking by. It was like a chilly marine layer morning, and like
it was.
I was shooting. I'm a photographer, so I was shooting for KC Highlights. So my girlfriend runs events and marketing with them, and so we were just walking to their booth, kind of getting started for the day, and about to grab some coffee or whatever, and we're like 3/4. I don't know if your dad was like, excuse me. I just didn't clock. Yeah. I just didn't clock it. And he was like, I thought I was in trouble at first, because he was like, hey, are you with Onyx? And I'm wearing the hat and I'm wearing the sweatshirt. And I'm like, sort of, like, I'm a trail guide. What can I do for you? Like, trying to be nice and everything. And he's like, no, you need to come to our booth to look at this. And I'm like, all right, let me drop my cameras and I'll be down there. And then I came down there and saw your product and almost shit myself, because it was just so cool.
The whole process was funny, man. Like I feel like we were literally talking about Onyx at dinner that night, because we were hoping to find somebody, because we'd been trying to get like connected so that we could do like a buy-in where we could give away some Onyx subscriptions to some of the off-road stuff, since we were doing a bunch of off-road shows. And we were like, man, I wonder if the Onyx is there. We got to find them. And then it just so happened, like, literally we just parked at the right spot. And I was like, wait a minute. And I was in the back seat of your small little Dodge Ram, man. I'm like trying to crawl out, like, don't lose sight.
That back seat is tight with those things. But it's a quad cab, so.
Yeah. We're like walking, and it was kind of a cool marine layer morning. Yeah. Kind of gloomy. It was like a perfect coffee day.
The truck that you guys were on, Jonathan, had all the KC highlights on it and everything, right? I think I remember seeing the cover.
When we go to those, so I was contracted as a well, I guess they call it fleet management kind of personnel. So, because I'm not afraid to drive anything or tow anything. So I was just driving the truck. We drove from Arizona, drove the truck in with the trailer and everything, but they do a great job with branding, and all their stuff is just fully kitted. They use all their own vehicles for R&D anyway. So it's like every KC vehicle has every light, every banner, every wrap, everything that you can imagine on it. And so, those things draw a little look and honks and waves on the highway. And
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yep. No, it was funny. It was super funny. I was like, I think that guy's from Onyx. Yep. And Walt was like, I'm on it. And he dropped his bag and just kept following you. And then he was gone for a minute. And I was like, I think Walt got lost. I said, maybe he beat him up. I don't know. And then, then he came over. So you said, you mentioned that you're a photographer. We'll actually throw your handle up there so people can follow you. Yeah. So we met at Santa Sport, and you were like, hey, this is really cool. And then you said, I have a Tacoma, and we just happened to be like a couple months from dropping our first Tacoma radio. And so you and I kept in contact up through probably about till February. It was like a monthly check-in. Hey, how are things going? And then finally I was like, we got him.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to be that guy like, hey, can I have some cool stuff? But like, because I really love, like, I mean, some people jump on any sponsorship they can get or whatever, but I love helping. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a small business. So you're a small business.
Yeah.
Like, I love bringing people up and connecting friends and everything. So like when I saw the product and I was like, okay, this is A, it's cool and it's a great product, but B, it can make my life so much easier mapping, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I want to at least stay on the radar. You guys are cool people anyway. So it's nice to have more cool friends to hang out with and everything, but
totally agree with you. No, I was perfect. I was like, not yet, man. Not yet. And we had actually bought a Tacoma in the meantime too for for us to put one in. And then, got them in, had you come out. I think it was right around February. I think actually our install video is his truck, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. So if you watch our install video, that's actually Jonathan's truck. So you came out, did that. And then, so tell us about what you do for Onyx. You mentioned being the entrepreneur and the photographer. We did talk while I was installing, right? Like I am trying to learn my way through camera stuff and lighting. And then you go and show me all these amazing photos that you take and make me feel like I'm, I felt like I was the Wish version of a photographer looking at Jonathan's stuff. Like, and then scoping out his Instagram page.
Yeah.
You scope out his Instagram page and it's like a dream. Like you just scroll and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like I feel like I'm experiencing something right now. So I fangirled hardcore over his photography. So check out his photography. Some of the action photos, man, are nuts. Like
I appreciate that.
I don't even know how you catch some of those things, man. It's super cool. I just fangirled hard. But so check out that stuff. But we just talked about like, you're kind of a like Swiss Army knife in the industry when it comes to like the off-road world and like you mentioned Casey highlights and stuff like that. So like get us in your world when it comes to like the automotive industry, man. Like where do you cut your teeth? Where'd you come from? What's your favorite part? All that good stuff.
It was really by accident, really. When I first started photography, I was a snowboard photographer. So I was based out of Tahoe. For the first 4 years I was there, I was on snow 200 days a year, traveling all around, worked summers at High Cascade Snowboard Camp. And then that didn't pay. I was, as you discover, like it's a great life, but like I got bills to pay. So new cameras come out, new computers, and you need hard drives and whatever. So I switched over to like doing that for advertising and less editorial and things that actually would pay the bills. And then, actually my current girlfriend, she's the one who brought me into the off-road world. She was doing social media for a few race teams down at King of the Hammers. And she met with those race teams and basically kind of found out what their needs were and what they wanted, and for doing social media during the race and after the race and everything like that. And she was like, look, you can't shoot this on a phone. You need a photographer. And so she called me and I was like, sure, dropped everything and went to the desert, King of the Hammers in Johnson Valley. And we've been going, I think we've missed 1 year, but we've been going the last 4 or 5 years. And that's kind of how I got into the off-road scene. And then she kind of took off from there, and she runs her own digital marketing agency. And so, we try and help and piggyback each other and whatever. And then we ended up getting a place in Arizona. We have property by the Grand Canyon. We have a house in Prescott, and we travel to all the events. Casey Highlights is her main client, but I mean, as you know, like the off-road world is pretty small. So, like the thing with Onyx, like I love connecting people. I love if someone's like, hey, I'm looking for this. Like, cool. I know 3 people that do that. Here, let me connect you or whatever. So, so that's kind of how I got into that. And then a different friend, I was kind of focused on the photography aspect of things. And then a different friend of mine who had been overlanding full time with his wife, stopped by our property, camped with us, and kind of was just like, what are you doing right now? And I was like, trying to find the next photography job, and he's like, it's like, let me make a call. And he ended up calling the Onyx Offroad, the guy who runs Onyx Offroad.
Okay.
And they brought me in, and, you know, Brett trained me on how to do it. And he's kind of referred to as the gold standard as far as Onyx Offroad mapping goes. And so he taught me, and here we are 2.5 years later. And I've got, well, at the end of this month, I'll have over 550 trails in the app. He's got over 1,000, but we're all trying to be him, you know? So
yeah. He's the one everyone's following.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I think I showed somebody one of your trails. I think I was like, I know this guy. I was like I was going through Arizona. I was like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Just,
it's cool. So that kind of led me to get involved with, I've always been doing photography. So that's kind of led to more off-road clients and more social media shooting and ad campaigns and stuff like that. And then, the Onyx thing, you know, being able to map and understanding topography and maps and everything like that has led to BLM contracts where, like, you know, we went and camped in the desert last year from February to March, like almost all the way to April. We mapped basically everything from Yuma to Gila Bend and then Ajo to the Mexican border. Like, we just mapped it all. And it's been great, man. Onyx is a great company. They send out rewards for X amount of trails mapped every month or whatever. And I get to see some really cool places and do some really cool stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm only slightly hateful that you get to do that stuff. And I don't, cause you got to follow his Instagram, cause he'll just randomly post with his truck in some place. You're like, how did whatever, like, how did you even get there? And that's not fair, but at the same time, it's super cool.
Yeah. So Jonathan, I have a question too. So
sure.
For those who don't know or are wondering, right, how does Onyx and LinksWell sort of work together? I mean, what is Onyx? If we could give a little bit of background for those that are listening or watching us, what does it do for the ATV or for the hunter, for the camper? Like, what does Onyx do for them? And how does having the Onyx application on our Tacoma radio or on any of our radios for that matter. But in this case, you know, you're a Tacoma owner and, you know, how does that tie into our radio and how does that make your life a lot easier?
So when I originally started mapping with Onyx, I had a 05 4Runner with the little the head unit about as big as your iPhone, right? And you can get to some cool places, you can do everything, but when you're out there, there's so many places out in the wilderness, especially in Arizona, where it's just, you know, parts of it are just desert. People just drive off into the desert. So you don't know if that's a trail or if that's a, you know, forest road or whatever, if it's a sanctioned trail. And so going from the size of screen, like this big on the head unit or just your phone, to a 13-inch screen and having this app up where you can literally just, it's like a giant phone. Like, I can just tap on a thing and it says, oh, this is a trail. It's 6 miles long. It goes through, you know, 2 canyons, and here's a description and what you're looking at. And oh, by the way, there's campsites and you might see elk and deer and all this is just, for me, immediately, like we were talking about, like, it was just a game changer as far as being able to pinch and zoom and being able to move the map around and, you know, zoom out and go, okay, I know I'm right here if I'm zoomed way in. But, like, am I taking the next right, or is that just a campsite and I need to take 2 rights, you know, whatever. But as far as, like, the detail and having that up on the screen when I'm mapping has been an absolute godsend, really. Like, I can't express you how thrilled I am to be connected with you guys. So,
no, that was the one thing you said too. So, because OnX has done all the work, right, to make their app CarPlay and Android Auto compatible. But Apple and Android both, like, they regulate what features they feel are safe to use. So I know there are a few features inside both those apps that inside CarPlay and Android Auto, just they don't allow you to access them. They kind of, like, I don't know, mute them, I guess is the best way I could say them. So with ours, you know, that was the thing, is you were like, wait, I can do this because I can't do this in CarPlay. And you just sat there and started, like you said, the zooming and the 3D and all that stuff. So it opens up the entirety of the feature set that the app has on the radio, where in CarPlay you would not be able to do some of those things. So I do remember your face.
The ability to zoom specifically, because, you know, we don't map private property. I don't want to trespass. I'm not out there to to piss anybody off or make anybody mad or anything like that. But, and I don't want to deface anyone's property, you know? And some people out in the middle of nowhere, they just buy 20, 30, 100 acres of land and it's just a square and there's just a fence. Mm-hmm. And if I come to that, you know, and there's a cattle guard, like the ability to zoom in and know exactly where I'm at. Like, in 30 feet, I'm on, you know, Mr. Smith's property, but right now I'm on National Forest property. So I need to take this and go around the property instead of cutting straight across is paramount, you know? And Onyx actually led me to getting involved with the local 4x4 search and rescue unit. And
nice.
They use a different brand of GPS off-road capability. And that particular one, you have to download maps repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. And so I map. So anytime Onyx pushes an update to the app, they're actually updating the map. They're adding new trails. They're saying, hey, these trails exist, whatever. And that particular company doesn't do that. You have to download a new map and download this and download that. And I'm like, well, 90% of my time is off the grid. I don't have a signal. So what happens if I'm going along on their map and all of a sudden, like, I'm off the map?
Right.
Like, cool. Onyx doesn't do that. Onyx is, you can download the map. You've got all your information right there. And it doesn't matter if you're online or offline. The LinksWell still behaves the same way. You can still pinch and zoom. You can still do 3D. You can still do all that stuff. So, I mean, that's my professional application, how I use it. And then, you know, we're from back east. So every year we do a month-long, you know, Christmas, New Year's trip to New Hampshire from Arizona. And it really helps the drive go by with the split screen and being able to, you know, my girlfriend's watching YouTube or something and I'm just cruising down the road, you know, got the map up. I know where I'm headed. So,
yeah. So it's the best of every world.
The best of every world.
Because it'll take you to where your regular Apple Maps, Google Maps won't take you.
Right.
And it'll take you there safely because it doesn't take you on any private lands. It's all publicly accessed areas. And it'll help you sort of guide your way through these mountains.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, and I love being able to, like, if you do like our Gen 6 and our XL, because they've got some pretty big memory banks. We did, a couple of buddies of mine went up to Big Bear, and we were supposed to be driving just we were trying to find snow to play with, pretty much is what it boiled down to. And all the trails were closed except one, and that trail took us from Big Bear into 29 Palms. And I was the night before on the radio, like, creating my overlay, my downloaded maps. And I was like, let me download this area. And then I was literally following the trail that I had no clue we were actually going to drive on. I was following the trail from Big Bear into 29 Palms. So I ended up, like, downloading all those sections too. So, like, by pure accident, I had all of the maps there so that when I would go in and out of service, the app didn't care because all the information was there. And it was great because I love, even within OnX, like, being able to hit driving along. So there's some trails up in, like, Idlewild that I'll do pretty regularly just for fun. And there's some yellow post stuff. And so I actually have all of those yellow posts marked with names and, like, notes that says, hey, I can fit 3 vehicles on this. I could fit 6 vehicles on this. This is a tent only. This one's this close to this. Like, just being able to, and then all of that stuff is, like, in your account. So it doesn't matter what device you log into after that, that all of that stuff is saved there.
That's cool.
So, like, you could you could literally sit at your computer, create your whole trip, mark everything, and then go out to our car. And then you open up the app and you just hit the download buttons of the things that you just made. And then it just sucks all the information that you built on the computer onto the radio. And now, doesn't matter if you have phone, doesn't matter if you have internet, everything's there. And then OnX will connect with, like, Google. So if I hit the button and it says get me to here, it'll use Google, drive me to the end of to the beginning of the trail, and then I'll switch over to OnX. So the way OnX, convenient. It's super convenient. And to say the same, I have seen other brand off-road navigations, and I just feel like OnX is the most intuitive because I'm not a smart guy. And I'm not a guy that reads maps well. Like, they're really pretty, like the whole, like, squiggly lines. I know they mean something. I know they mean something, like, you know, how high or low something is, They're really pretty, but I'm not smart enough to know.
Yeah.
But OnX makes the use of that stuff.
I'll drop a couple of things for your users. So OnX Offroad in particular was meant to be used offline. So the first thing before I even leave my driveway, like you said, I'm on the computer, I'm setting up my route, and they have a great route builder thing. You just click it, you can change colors, whatever. So I'll set my route, download the map, and then when I'm in my driveway, I just hit, as soon as the car's on, it downloads the maps, and I just hit go offline. So from my driveway in civilization, I'm offline because it's designed to be used offline. And we all know how that works, right? If you have one bar of fake service in the middle of nowhere, it's going to try and pull that bar. So if you don't give it that option, it's just going to pull from its straight memory of what you've downloaded. And it's so fast and it's so efficient and it's so great. And they're pushing updates. Now OnX, I mean, you mentioned navigation. OnX now has navigation in the app. So you can say navigate to here and it'll say, do you want to use Google Maps? Do you want to use OnX Maps or do you want to use Apple Maps? And you can choose and it'll do turn by turn in the app. And so that's the thing about OnX. Like we have so many trail guides nationwide that are constantly mapping trails, constantly giving feedback to the product development team so that they can get everything out to the end user in a way that's the most efficient and the best way to explore this beautiful country we have, So, and if you're hesitant about buying, I do have a 50% off code. I don't know if you want me to say it now or if you want to put it on the screen,
man.
But,
do it.
If you're hesitant about buying 50% off for the OnX Offroad, it's at the checkout. You have to do it on the computer. Sign up on the computer. At checkout, use the code DRTNMD50, Dirt Nomad 50. But don't spell out Dirt Nomad, just DRTNMD50. That'll give you 50% off. Go explore.
Bada bing, bada boom, brother. Love that. There it is. See that? Get to learn about how OnX and LinksWell are like a dream mate. And I think that was how I felt year and a half, 2 years ago when we first started to jump into all of the off-roading and overland stuff, because as we're developing all of that, like I just did a video about putting in the solar panels. So as we've been working through this power management system, and whatnot, we just got really headlong into the overlanding and the off-road world, and just learning all of these different, aspects that are out there. And one of the things that's the most exciting working at LinksWell, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this in past episodes, is just the ability for us to jump into third-party stuff. Yeah, like we don't need to do anything special for you to control your Ring devices or, different Bluetooth devices. And so when stuff like OnX came around, and I was like, how will this work on our radio? And so here's where I get my little bit of joy, is I get to test that. And so I downloaded the app and I was like, okay, this is pretty nice, pretty slick. And then we started hitting some of these off-road shows, and I'm like, we need a way to let people know, because people know OnX. Like some of my favorite YouTube channels are dudes using OnX. Like, they're big OnX guys. I'm trying to I cannot think of the guy that just went up to the Arctic Circle with home dude here in the Jeep, Trail Recon. What's his name? Brad.
Brad.
You know him, right? Yeah. Brad went up. Brad went up with the Story Till Now. That's it. That's the YouTube channel. The Story Till Now. That guy, he does a lot of mapping like you do for OnX up. I believe he's up in Canada. And so like there's some just good dudes that are out there doing big things. And so I'm like, man, OnX is it. And I really want OnX people to just know, man, all of the great stuff that you have here on your tablet mounted or, muted in CarPlay, like you could experience that even better.
Well, it's like we talk about CarPlay being cool on your phone.
Yeah.
And, Google or Android Auto being nice on your phone. But once you have it on a 13-inch screen, it's just that much more impressive. Yeah.
It's it's impressive, but it's at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? And it's the right tool for the job.
Yeah.
The larger screen makes that tool so much better, because there are days when I didn't have a head unit and I was in my 05 4Runner and I'm sitting there and my phone has overheated because now it's so hot from running maps offline and everything like that. Now I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere waiting for my phone to cool down so that I can get back to mapping. And it's like, dude, this is absolute, like I said, it's absolute game changer. It's the best tool for the job.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
And I like all of our kits, but I think that the Tacoma one specifically blends into that dash.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it makes that dash look so much nicer too.
Well, I love Toyota.
Yeah.
I've always loved Toyota. Like we actually were talking earlier about how Jonathan's favorite car is the twin turbo Supra.
Right.
I think Toyota worked really hard to become a household name and super reliable, and they just are afraid now to do big things. Like twin turbo Supra, like that was stepping out, right? Like that was a bold move
years ahead,
and then they just kind of stopped.
Yeah,
like the Celica got really weak, the MR2 got really weak, they got rid of the Supra. You know, they just leaned into the family, you know, trust the car. And then with technology, Toyota likes to take technology and then spend 5 years tuning it so that it's perfect, so that what ends up happening is they're always 5 years behind, you know, what everybody else is doing. Like, I don't think they had CarPlay until 2020.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I remember
they were
that.
like 4 or 5 years behind. Yeah, and so to Toyota's benefit, they don't put anything out until they've like really tuned it. But to that extent, like you've got these third gen Tacomas that off-road wise, like they've got some pretty techie things. Like the buttons that we have on our Tacoma, like I just want to get stuck so I could try them. Like I've seen YouTube videos, and so I want to try them and get it stuck, but I know Walt will kill me, but I want to. Like I want to get it stuck and try them. But what we do is we bring in that dash, right? We take it and we go from that the U-Tune or E-Tune or whatever they call their U-Tune or something, whatever their system is, and we put all the new tech that's available now in it, and we still keep that good look and quality and stuff. So I do agree. I think Tacoma is probably
the N-Tune audio system.
N-Tune, yeah. N-Tune means no features, just tune.
It's funny because like I have a 21 TRD off-road, double cab long bed, rear locker, crawl control. Like I've been looking for that truck for probably over a decade. And when I got it, I was told by the salesperson there were 6 west of the Mississippi. Jeez. And I was like, cool, like done. Like, because I knew it's my daily driver. We were building a cabin, so I was going to be hauling lumber and all that stuff. So, but the way that the integration of like what you guys did with the tablet, the way it integrates seamlessly with the dash, because it's not just a tablet stuck in your dash. It's that whole piece. You've gone around the air vents. Everything is seamless, and it's really, really beautiful. And then on top of that, like the thing that always wows people when I show them, they're like, oh, well, you got rid of the climate controls. I'm like, no, we just turned them digital. Like they're no longer these clunky buttons where you have to, it's like the 5-star, like higher. No, it's just you swipe here and, oh, you want to see a cool animation, like turn the fan up here. It shows where it's coming out. Oh, you want your seat heater on, hit the seat. Like, oh, the seat gets redder and redder. Like it's just the LinksWell actually, I think it's very rare that like we see companies that are able to take tech and make decisions that make sense and are very practical, but also very functional. And I think you guys have done that really seamlessly with the Tacoma dash. I mean, I don't have any experience with anyone else's. I'm assuming they're all the same, but I love my truck and I love driving my truck, but that LinksWell system that I have in there is such a big part of that. So because like being able to have it so seamlessly integrated, there's no, I have to relearn or everything. Everything is just where it should be. And it's so great.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Like being on this side of the development and the testing, and like Vic and I handle, like he's taken over all the tech support stuff, but I still do all the social media, and everybody assumes that whoever runs your social media can answer every question they have. So I get a ton of tech questions on social media too. So we tend to catch the people who are complainers and don't get to hear often the good stuff. We know there's good stuff because we've got thousands and thousands of radios out there, and we hear from tens of people. But yeah, man, and just knowing like you are somebody that has an eye. Like you're a photographer, right? So the idea of having an eye of like just what looks good is for you to say that the way it looks, and because we kind of wrestled around a little bit. There was different renderings that came across. But when the final one showed up, like I was most impressed. I think our engineers, when it came to the whole putting it together, definitely one of the best finished ones.
Yeah, because we had the choice of going down an inch or up a half inch.
Yep. Yeah, we had a few tweaks here and there.
You made the right decision.
I love that.
Decision. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, very cool. Well, cool, man. Well, I don't know. Do you have more questions, Vic?
No, I mean, I think that's it. I mean, if anybody hasn't checked out the Onyx app, I think they should, only because, as a parent, you want to get your kids involved with, ATVs and dirt bikes. And obviously the moms don't want the kids in the middle of the street riding these things around. So their biggest question is, where are you going to take them? Where are you going to go with them once you do get them a dirt bike or an ATV? Well, Onyx is the perfect solution because it helps you sort of look for a trail that's nearby your place. And now you've got a safe location where you can go. And not only are you there, you know where you are because of the Onyx mapping that Jonathan does for them.
Yeah. I tell you, now you can tell people, Jonathan, like, I know the guy that mapped this map. Like Google something out there in Arizona.
Yeah.
So now any of our Arizonaites, this is the dude. When you see Jonathan Herre, this is the dude that's mapping those trails for you. Cool, man. Well, I know we talked that you'll be out here for Sand and Sport, which actually should be when this posts. It'll be the Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up. Vic will be there. So if you guys are coming out to Sand and Sport, you're hanging out at KC Highlights, is that where you'll probably be?
Yeah, I'll probably be KC Highlights, running around there. I'll probably take a few laps through the show, and then obviously come down and see you guys, say what's up. So yeah.
So
be around. I'll probably be wearing an Onyx hoodie or Onyx hat. So
yes, Onyx hoodie. I need an Onyx hoodie.
Yeah, or I should probably wear my LinksWell hat at that point.
Yeah, you get one of those too. Well, dude, you got an Onyx hoodie, LinksWell hat.
Perfect.
Yeah. Boom.
Perfect combo.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, perfect. And then, we'll be there. I won't be there, Vic. You're running the show because my daughter's getting married that same weekend. Right. So I will be.
Congrats.
Yeah. So, thanks. Super excited for that. So you'll be running the whole show there. So
definitely,
if you have any issues that you need, go talk to Vic at the show.
I'll be more than happy to assist. Hey, come on down.
Yeah, we do. Every show somebody comes, and even this weekend, there was a Jeep at the Alan Ed's booth, and they had one of our radios in it, and he was having issues with CarPlay, and so he walked over, and I was like, "Do this, and this." He's like, "Okay, I'll try that," and then he never came back. So I'm assuming
that worked.
This, and this fixed it, and he was good to go. And it was just a simple update because he just had an updated radio, but. Sand and Sport will be there. I believe we're going to be back in that back corner again where everybody does all the burnouts.
That's the perfect spot, if you ask me.
Yeah, because it even naturally just gravitates people.
Are you guys doing Offroad Expo as well?
Yeah, we'll be at Offroad Expo the weekend after that. I'll be there for that one.
Right.
I'll see you. See you at that one as well, and then I think we leave straight from there to go to Trail Hero. So it's event season. We're everywhere. So.
It's crazy. Yeah. So we were at a show Saturday. We'll be you have the Sand and Sports Super Show in 2 weeks. The weekend after that is Offroad Expo.
Right.
And then like 2 weeks after that, I'll be in Big Bear for Venture Van. And then our Tacoma is actually driving, I believe, into Indiana for some RV stuff.
Right.
And then I feel like there's one more.
Right before SEMA,
and then of course SEMA's going to be cool. So, did I? You know what else I didn't tell you? We're getting a new tent for the Jeep.
Wait, what?
Yeah, talking about the connecting. Like Jonathan was saying, like the more people I get to know, the more fun it is.
Still go up, or is it going to?
No, it's going to. It's super cool. I didn't even mean to talk about this, but so there was I need to upgrade update our solar. If you haven't seen our video, I have the hood one now. I need to update the rest of them now.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I need to update the solar, and I really, 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 really don't want to try and pull all these solar panels off this tent and replace them. I want to sell the tent with the solar panels and get a new tent to start over. That's just where my brain was. And so there's this one called Roof Nest, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's kind of cool. Have you seen them?
Oh.
So like it flips open. Yeah, it's a hard top,
Yep.
No, it's not. Maybe it's not roof nest. It's a different one. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. Anyways, it's hard top, but it's a flip, and like the whole front end opens up like a panoramic view.
Wow,
it's super cool. So anyways, so that's coming. And we talked about hooking him up. They're like 2 months old out here, so it's definitely not roof nest. It's something else. Something else.
It's not a flip pack or anything like that, is it?
No, it does flip over. It flips over like a soft top tent, only it's actually hard all the way around. It clamps like a hard shell.
Okay.
Yeah,
right on. Yeah, we have the
roof space.
That's what they are. Roof space.
Roof space.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So they're 2 months old out here, and so I just happened to walk by and I was like, "This is a really cool tent." And then nobody was there. I'm like looking around, so I like jumped on their Instagram. I was like, "Hey, is anybody at the show that I could talk to?"
Oh, there's somebody there.
Not. And then all of a sudden this guy walks out. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And super nice dude. And we chatted up a bit. And I told him, what I was doing. And he was all excited. And I was like, "Yeah, man." Like I was like, "You're going to be at SEMA?" He's like, "No, not at SEMA, man. We're only 2 months old." I'm like, "Well, the Jeep will be at SEMA." And he's like, "Oh." And so now he's all excited. So
nice.
Yeah, try and connect him with some more folks. Yeah. So it's just that networking, man. I think that is my absolute favorite thing about being in this industry is networking and just like you said, somebody needs something. Yeah, I know somebody. I got this guy, that guy here. And just
I love
being able to go to the shows.
People. Like it's so fun. Like if someone's looking for beta or info or, even if they're looking for a discount code or something, it's like, cool. I can't promise anything, but I can put you in touch with the person who probably might be able to do something about it. And I love doing that. Like I'm not trying to gatekeep any of this at all. It's just like, cool. If I know him and you want to know him, I'll introduce you. From there, it's your fault.
So. Yeah, after that, I can only do what I could do. So so networking is super cool. So I made a friend.
Nice.
Roof space, that's what it's called. Roof space. So super cool tent. So so man, thanks so much for coming on.
Dude,
we already talked about possibly hitting up connecting up at Offroad Expo, maybe doing some more hangout there in the booth, maybe before or after. We barbecued at this last.
I heard.
Yeah,
I heard.
We sat there and grilled carne asada on the beach, man. It was a rough day.
I'll tell you what, we got to do something like that for Sand and Sport too.
Yeah, you're on your own there. Yeah, you have to cook yourself. I can't cook for you.
Just you already have all the gear. Well, the Jeep,
the Jeep, everything. No, but the Tacoma's there.
Right.
The Tacoma's got the
kitchen.
Yeah, it's got everything. Yeah, it's got the Nomad kitchen in it.
Nice.
So, but you're on your own. You have to cook your own stuff.
I might just bring my wife with me.
I think you should.
She'll
just cook it up.
Ooh,
dang. Yeah. See,
we go camping down to San Diego a couple times a year, and I'm always telling you, we bring the big grill, like the big one with like 3 propane tanks. She's like, no, I got it, man. She gets down in these huge meals in the small little stove, and I'm like, wow.
I'm telling you, man, camping so last year we did 10 or 11 days. We left here, drove up to the Redwoods, and came back and camped the whole time. That's what we did. And my wife, she actually broke her foot like halfway through it. So my wife camped. My wife tent camped with a broken foot for like 6 days because my wife is just straight up boss that way. But like the meals she made, like she literally like preset a like lasagna and like froze it solid. And so it functioned partly as the ice for the ice chest, and then it was a meal that we had. So like we had all of these like meals, like we had like legit dinners, camping, and then it was like, so my sons pick on her, like, "Mom, this isn't camping. Like camping is hot dogs." No. and I was like, boys, no, shut up, boys.
Don't put any ideas in your head. No. So
don't you shame?
I have a funny story. I have a funny story like that. I grew up camping. My parents, and I think looking back on my life, I'm in my 40s now, but looking back on my life, I'm like, oh, I think it was because my parents didn't want to take us to Disneyland and, $10,000 trip for, we had 3 other siblings, like my mom and dad.
You're not
wrong.
We'll
just go camping. And so I'm used to the hot dogs and, tacos and all this stuff. So my girlfriend's Italian. She loves to cook. And so last year we go to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon and we're out on this point. It's amazing. I've mapped it. It's called Dog Point. Check it out. But we're out there and we set up camp. We flip over the tent. She breaks out the scuttle and I'm just sitting there like kind of hanging with the dog. And she goes, "Hey, is filet good for dinner tonight?" And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, I was thinking filet mignon with some bacon wrapped asparagus. And I'm like, do you want me to open a bottle of wine? Sure.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Let me just
doing right now.
Let me just answer this question for every question after. The answer is yes. If you want to cook me anything other than hot dogs and beans, then the answer is yes. Unequivocally, yes. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, funny. Some women, I mean, and you know, I mean, some guys get down too. I mean, you get down in the barbecue grill too, and you work your way through it really well. I can't. You know, I'll go get the beer and get the coolers filled. That's what I'll do.
That's your job.
I'll get the ice.
We need those guys too, man.
And the red cups. I got that. You know. In the meantime, you guys can get the meat ready, and you know, the beers will be cold by the time the tacos are ready.
Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, I love it.
If you ever camp with Marco and he's got that Patriot trailer or whatever the trailer company he's with, and he's got a full kitchen, and so Marco will literally like pop open the side of the trailer, breaks out the blender. Breaks out the cutting boards and the knives. He's making homemade salsa on the trail. And it's just this is living.
Yep. That's funny because that's how our rigs are, because we've got the whole power management system. So we have the inverters and all that. So I literally have one of the little magic bullets.
Yes.
So we were at the beach and she was like, oh. He had this moment of like, I should have brought stuff. We could have made margaritas. Like he was like ready to have margaritas. So, but we did. We've done so we went camping last Thanksgiving and we had the Jeep there. We used the thing to make salsa, the little magic bullet, fresh salsa for when we had I don't know what we ate, but it is quite ridiculous how bougie you can actually camp nowadays, especially when you build a good overland rig. There's quite a bit of stuff out there, so
that's cool,
super fun. But having we talked about that, like we literally were talking about how women keep us from dying young because we would keep doing stupid things if we didn't have women. And then women take our camping trips. Like I've got a buddy that I camp with quite often, and I'm always like, hey man, what are you planning on cooking? He's like, oh, I was just gonna bring chili beans. And I'm like a can of beans, dude? He's like, yeah. I'm like, not even like a hot dog? He's like, yeah. I'm just gonna keep it simple. And I'm like, dude, like we could literally hit Stater Brothers, man, and get a couple pounds of carne asada, and you just need tortillas after that. Like, that's a way better deal than a can of beans.
Wine, man. That's a dinner.
Yeah. I was like, that would
when we go
do that.
We think camping.
We're like Monday nights tacos, Tuesday night steak, Wednesday nights, lasagna.
That's what happens when a lady gets involved, though. Like, camping with my wife, man, is lit.
To us, camping is just ice chest, beers, sun, sandals, and water, right? Or whatever, a body of water.
And no service on your phone.
And then they bring everything else. It's like, wow, that's right. We got to eat.
Yeah, that's right. We can't live off of beer alone. Even though we want to.
Man, you're like, I just want the calories. That's all.
Yeah. I just gotta. I'm gonna drink. Yeah, I'm going to drink my calories. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm getting the double IPA. I'm going to make sure that's super. Oh, good times. Well, again, man, thanks for coming. We will put all of Jonathan's contact info, his Instagram. Like I said, you can fangirl like I do and take a whimsical journey through all of his photography. I don't know how he takes some of those photos. They are ridiculously cool. And one day I hope to be like him. Yeah, I really hope to be like you one day. They're gorgeous. Like they're just the angles and the action and it's really, really cool to see.
Thank you.
I just thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, man. I just enjoy like watching someone's craft.
Yes.
Like even if it's things that I'm like have no clue or necessary interest in, just somebody that's good at what they do. You just can't not look at it. You're just like, dang, that is freaking cool.
And I'm kind of like that with everything, whether it's a good actor, a good singer, a good musician, a good photographer. We know how to admire good work.
Yeah, totally. 100%. So, but we'll put all his stuff in there. Come by, check us out this Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Costa Mesa.
Right.
For Sand and Sports Super Show. We'll have our F-150. If you're looking for an F-150, we're selling it, so you can buy it. We also will have our Tacoma there and a bunch of our radios. We need to sell that F-150 so we can build our Chevy.
That thing's got over $100,000 worth of equipment in it.
I know, and they're only wanting 55 for it now.
And most people will buy an F-150 to eventually get it there.
Yeah, this one's ready.
Skimp out on it, and then never get it there.
Yeah.
But this one's already there.
Yeah, go camping tomorrow in it
for less than half the cost.
Yeah, go camping in it right now.
Yeah, ready to go.
And it's pretty too.
It is. I love it.
It is super pretty. It's a pretty
Starlight headliner.
Yeah. Ooh, that Starlight headliner, man. Oof.
Yep.
That was a labor of love.
Yeah.
It was like 3 days, man. Yeah. Anyways, totally off topic.
Yes.
But if you're looking to buy a truck, we got one for sale. But come on, Sports Super Show. Weekend after that, we'll be up at Offroad Expo. It is show season, so keep your eyes out for some cool stuff. And of course, don't forget to hit the link, get involved in the giveaway. Vic wants to give away a 13-inch double din. We just need to hit 12.5K when it comes to our subscribers, and then we will give that away. Even if you're already a subscriber, you can get in by doing different things, sharing stuff like that. So that link will be in there, and don't forget that discount code, 50% off of OnX. That's legit. And yeah, check it out. Check out OnX on a LinksWell Radio. There is not much like it. There you go. Episode 7 is in the books. Come by, check us out these next couple shows. We'll have Jonathan back on, probably live. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you around.
See you on the next one.
Right on. Thanks, fellas.
Boom! Crushed it.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, dude. That was like supernatural and great and amazing.
Sorry about my choice language that one time.
No. Yeah, choice language. I didn't even catch
it.
I didn't catch it either.